The line item, Estina investment, 3.7 million, 3,750,000 rand. They were putting in their own money, they were telling you, in September and October, so that they could do the work that you say they were supposed to do with the 30 million you advanced them in July of 2012.
That's
something
correct.
Very wrong there. Doesn't add up. What you're saying doesn't add up, Mr. Thabethe.
No, Chair, it adds up. Because the fact that they've been putting their money means that the work was done that we had requested them to do.
Why must they put in their money when you have put money for that work? That should be a question that comes naturally. We've given you money for this work. Why are you putting your own money and taking the money that we have given you somewhere else?
That's correct, Chair. That's what we asked. Mm-hmm. You remember I said we raised this issue and we said...
Yes, and what was the answer?
We said to them, this money we had put it aside for this particular purpose. And this is what we want to do. Because we had not made the money available for the activities. I think if you will later look, Chair, on the December report, you realize that a lot of the work that we should have paid for, they had actually paid for because they had planted, they have done everything on the ground, and money had been spent. And then in January, the work of the money...
No, Mr. Thabethe, let's stay just with the question.
Chair.
You have given them money to do a certain job.
Yes, Chair.
They are taking that money elsewhere.
Yes.
And then they are saying to you, when you raise the question, they are putting in their own money. The most obvious question, why is that necessary?
Well, for more on this story, I'm joined in studio by my colleague Mangoba Mchunu, who's been observing this story for us. It seems increasingly that Advocate Kabashe and Justice Zondo are getting a little bit impatient with Mr. Thabethe. Am I wrong?
And of course, Nombo, that's been the case even in the previous testimonies of Mr. Thabethe, where they're really trying to dig deep to get information out of him, And he's simply, answering with the fact that, I was not, involved as a HOD. I received reports on this. I wasn't on the ground and so forth, seemingly passing the buck to other officials who were there on the ground. And of course, that's been sort of like, how his testimony has been at the State Capture Commission, to say, I did receive reports, and I looked at the reports and the recommendations were that I do this and this and this. But the questions always come back is that you are the accounting officer. You are the person that is responsible. You are the person that signed off this project in the first place. You are the person that continued to pump money into this project despite all the problems that flagged it, despite all of the issues that were raised. Number one, it was illegal in the sense that it had not followed proper procedures, tender procedures, that it had broken some of the Public Finance Management Act, requirements, and also the fact that, even the farmers that were meant to benefit from this didn't benefit. So the questions that has been really been asked today is, there was an amount of 30 million that you paid to Estina to start off the project, to kick off the project, but they didn't use it for that. Instead, it was siphoned out of the country, it went to other accounts, and they didn't use it for what it was supposed to be used. So why didn't you ask Estina? Why did you not ask them, why are they not using this money for what they're doing? And he's saying, of course, I relied on the official reports from officials on the ground, and that's the reason why. So, the judge has been frustrated. You could see him really probing him and saying that, you should take responsibility. Let's take a listen to this part number.
I hear, Chair, that I'm being asked this question, but I'm not in a position to respond.
But you were the accounting officer, Mr. Thabethe, and if you have got people working for you, and they don't do their job properly, you take responsibility as the head of department and accounting officer. Is that not so?
I agree, Chair.
If you trusted them enough that if they said everything was fine, you were prepared not to check, and it turns out that things were not fine, you take responsibility for that, isn't it?
Yes, Chair, I agree.
So you can't hide behind them. If you trust them, that they are qualified to check certain things for you, and they are credible, they are trustworthy, if they say this is okay, you are prepared to take their word without checking, and it turns out there is a problem, they didn't do their job, you are accountable.
That's what I'm agreeing with, Chair.
Yes, okay.
Maybe it is not coming across.
Well, it's coming across as if you are running away from accountability on the basis that you had people under you.
So, Mangoba, what's the story about another Gupta-linked company?
Well, of course, you'll remember that Estina itself is a Gupta-linked company that siphoned about 280 million from this project. It was supposed to plow back about 280 million into the project, but that never happened. Of course, we're hearing of another Gupta company, Gateway Trading, also having received about $5 million to do a feasibility study that was already done apparently by the department. So yet it seems that there is another Gupta tentacle on this project with that emergence of the fact that they had received actually around about 49 million to actually do this feasibility study for this project. And of course, it raises many questions about it. We have heard in the previous testimony that, the Guptas themselves were involved in this project before. We had heard that Guptas from India, not necessarily the Gupta brothers, were part of this project. But I think in the testimonies that we've heard over the recent weeks, we've kind of heard the link of the Guptas, where we've heard about Rajesh Gupta, asking the then MEC of Finance about details of this project, Estina project, asking about payments of it. So the Guptas, it seemed, benefited more than through Estina. They were directly involved in the project and also through one of their companies called Gateway Trading.
So how much longer can we expect Mr. Thabethe to be on the stand, as we've now decided to call it?
Well, Nompu, we do expect that he's going to be there today. We're not sure whether they're going to finish, judging by the pace we're going in over again, because, they
nervous. It's okay to be nervous.
Dig deeper, they have to keep on pesting him. So the rate at which we're going in at this point, I doubt that he might be finished, but there's a possibility of that. We have no indication of who's going to be testifying tomorrow, so the possibility is that he might still continue tomorrow, judging on how he will, of course, whether they'll finish with him today.
All right then, Mangoba, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much for your time. Nzinga, over to you.